Hello, in this video I'd like to take a look at the curves for Workspace. This requires the persistent base install, so if that's not installed, go ahead and follow this link and install that first. I already have the script downloaded and have trueSpace open. I'm going to just take the installer and drag it into the link editor. Wait for it to install, and there we have the curve tools installed. And I'm going to delete the installer, and here's the toolbar for the curves. Now if I close the toolbar, I can get it back with this NT button. All right, we'll start by making a curve from a polygon. So I'm going to take this and enter point edit mode. I'm going to select the face and push this polygon curve from polygon button. Just press that and I get this curve. The reason it ended up a figure 8 is because the point order of the plane isn't in order. To get around that, you can go back to the plane, right click. We can use the tools to just draw a polygon. And I'll right click. Now if I push the button, it'll create a curve with the points in order. Okay, right click that. Put over here. Now for this next step, I want to make an open curve. So I'm going to go ahead and do the... Actually, I haven't done this yet. This is the creating a curve from a vertex selection. So you already have a mesh that exists. You can use this. Instead of selecting the face, I can select the vertices in whatever order I want it to be. And I'll get a green line representing where the curve is going to go. And just right click to end the tool and it'll create a new curve based on the point selection. I'm going to right click and move this plane out of the way. Now select this curve and show some of settings here. This slider here controls how detailed the curve is, how smooth it is. And I can make it extra smooth or bring it down and make it chunky. Now the buttons here will show the control points, or rather that makes the curve invisible. And this makes the control points visible or not. You can toggle the head indicator, which will bring in a little red box right here that indicates the beginning of the curve. And the freeze curve button will take the curve and convert it into an ordinary mesh. So I'll demonstrate that here with this curve. If I press freeze curve, it looks the same, but now it's not a curve anymore. I can show you what it is. I'll right click to go to point edit mode. I'm going to select those vertices there. Move them down. I'll right click Go to settings and show object attributes, and that shows the true form of the curve, showing that it's a cone, with the bottom of the cone being the only visible points. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete that and do some more curve manipulations. Okay, panel. To edit a curve, you select the CP mesh, the control point mesh. You don't ever want to right-click on the curve node itself, with the curve node itself selected. So select CP mesh, and that indicates here control point mesh up here in the upper right. Now I can right-click and go into point edit mode, and that'll show me the handles that I can use to manipulate the curve. Okay. I'm going to skip the sweep and demonstrate the extend curve. To extend a curve, you choose an end of the curve, either end, and you just push the button, and it adds another control point to the end, extending the curve, making it longer. To add a point to the middle of the curve, you use this button, the insert control point. Click that, and each of these is an indicator of where you can add a point. And if I click here, see I added a new point here that didn't exist before. Now if I want to delete that point, I select the middle of this control point pair and click the delete. Now at the end, there's only 2 points for a handle. So you select the end, and I can delete that as well. Okay, now I'm going to right-click to get out of point edit mode. And I have this mesh here. I'm going to move it to the head of the curve. Okay, that should be good. Now to use the sweep tool, the mesh has to have all its rotations frozen. That's a multi-step process if the freeze curve or freeze mesh to, well, the freeze script isn't installed in trueSpace. So the first step is to show the axis, and then go back and normalize rotation. And then we want to hide the axis by clicking the axis tool again. And finally, push the flatten axis button. And like I was trying to say before, if the freeze script is installed, all to do is just push that button, and that will prepare the mesh so it can be swept. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this scene just in case. Because in an earlier run, it did crash on me. Okay, I'm going to make, I have the object selected. I'm going to go into point edit mode. I want to select faces. I'm going to select all these faces on the end. Click on the sweep path tool. Now it's waiting for me to select a curve. So I'll select the curve. Close. Looks like I found a bug. Okay, the reason for the crash has been fixed, and we're back, ready to sweep the polygon. So I'm going to go ahead and select the mesh, right-click to go into point edit mode, Select these faces at the head of the curve and push the button. Next it asks me to select the curve. Do that. First it sweeps the curve, and then a few moments later it creates UVs for the curve. And there we have it. We can take a look at UVs. I'll grab a texture and throw it on there. And edit some UVs. Just throw that up there. And that's pretty good. And that's all there is to the sweep tool. Thanks for listening.